Hello, hello. Welcome to the weekly Wisdom Live brought to you by WOIII, Women of Impact Innovation International. We're honoring wisdom while building the next generation of innovative leaders. Each month, you guys will be focusing on one topic each week, and we'll dive into different aspects of that topic. This month, our topic is women CEOs and business, women CEOs in business and leadership. And my name is Nicole Mashingadze, and my co-host is Sabrina Pratik. And we'll be talking today about planning, your business planning, strategic plans, mission, visions, and just the importance of giving yourself some grace as you go along this journey and enrolling support into your life, into your business. So that's what we'll be talking about. So let's jump in. I actually wanted to kind of just start by asking Sabrina a question, just because I heard last week, I was so excited to do this live because I heard her doing a live last week with Michelle Jewsbury and some other ladies, and she mentioned business plan, and I could barely like sit in my seat. I was jumping up and down, and I'm like, I'm in the right crowd. I'm amongst the right people when we're talking about business plans and the importance of those. And it just really touched my heart that she brought that up because it is so important for us as women to make sure that we have that. Make sure that we have that plan, but also support with that plan to put it into action. So, but I wanted to ask you, Sabrina, to dive a little more into that and just kind of give us some a little more feedback, because I know you guys had a lot of other things you were talking about that
Yes,
day.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, Nicole, you and I had a very hearty conversation before this live started. We probably should have recorded that.
Yeah.
Um, but I believe that you have their starting point. Let's go back. Every business starts with an idea, whether it's a product or service. It starts with an idea. And we get excited about those ideas and we're ready to catapult and do it. But we have to kind of restrain ourselves a little bit to make sure that we have a roadmap. And really, it starts with a business plan. Now that kind of might get in the way because maybe it's kind of slowing you down a little bit. You don't want to fool with that part, but that's the core. That's really the core, as you and I mentioned, because it's the very dynamics of your business, whether it's a product or a service or whatever. If you don't get that done, it doesn't matter how good your product and service is. If you don't have that roadmap, if you don't have that blueprint, that business blueprint, then you may not be successful in business. So let's you and I kind of break down what is on a business plan. You mentioned a couple items that start that business plan out. What would those be, Nicole?
Well, a business plan, one thing that is going to be mapped out on your business plan is your mission and vision. And that's one of the things that I recommend people actually start with is their mission and their vision. Mission, vision, sometimes starting out with your mission is a lot easier, and then you can come up with your vision because it's a lot easier for us to identify what we're going to do, right? And that's
Yes.
what the mission statement is. And then we can get into the vision. And then beyond that, it may or it may not go directly on your business plan, depending on how you're formatting your business plan. But you do want to make sure that you're getting clear on your core values. And the thing that I love about that is I want to take it a step back because most of us are starting off alone in what we do, right? We start off as solopreneurs. It's important to have that personal mission, vision, and core values before you even do the business mission, vision, and core values. And the reason I say that is because we talked behind the scenes. I've been in business probably since I was 19 years old, or probably a little younger. And I've started quite a few businesses over the years. And I realized that some of those businesses never needed to get started because they weren't aligned with my mission and vision and who I was and my own core values. So I spent a lot of time spending my wheels into things and spending money into things that I really didn't need to be involved in. So So I would say even take a step back and make sure that you have your own personal, know who you are before you go into business, right? And I'm not saying you got to take forever. I'm not talking about people who are analysis paralysis and, so they won't go into action and, you got to think about it for 6 months, who you are. There's some strategic ways that you can kind of put into place to make sure that you are clear on who you are, your mission, your personal vision, your core values, and carry that into your business. So that's
I
kind of, I think, the beginning. Yeah.
I really like that. Let's pulling in the core values. When I worked for corporate America, we had the big mission and vision statement. But what do you think they had plastered when you first walk in the building? Our core
Core
values.
values.
Because see, the core values, they actually make you feel a certain kind of way about that company. Oh, they care about people. They're sympathetic, kindness. You use words like that now you start to attach or detach, as you mentioned, from a company based on those core values. So I just think that is awesome to even bring that up, because sometimes we only focus on the mission and vision right off the bat, and we forget how those core values play a role. Now, I had fun, putting my core values together, because it told me a lot about me. Like you
Mm,
said, it's sometimes you're finding yourself out. And
yeah.
I started researching all of these things and coming up with words that identified with how I felt about myself and my mission and my vision, and putting those core values together. So that's a really critical part of a business plan, because it talks about ethical, right?
Yes.
It's that feel good side of your business.
Yeah. And it ties to you, like you said, it ties back to you getting your core values. But also, I don't know if you ever heard the term, things trickle from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't even matter once the owner has gone on and they're no longer really working in that business. That's why it's so important, because if you don't have that, that's your foundation. And that will begin to become a part of the culture. So it's you in the beginning, but we always need to have the mindset that it's not always going to be me. At least at best you need to have, an assistant and some other people. So we need to be thinking that when they come on board, they understand who we are, right? What our core values are. And it helps give them direction. People, I think you do it for yourself, but you do it for your employees and for your customers as well. Because employees that are not confused stay with you, they grow with you, right? And having that mission, the vision, and the core values is just kind of like the base of it. And I always tell people that make sure that your employees or whoever is working with you understand what your mission, vision, and core values are. As a matter of fact, they should have them memorized, because that's the core of who you are and who your business, and what you're doing and what you're putting out there to the world. And it's something you can always go back to and remind yourself of, remind your people of, and you can use that kind of like as a barometer of when you're getting off track, right? Even if you should go into partnership with someone else, right? If your core values, your mission, your vision has to be aligned with what you're doing. So it's a great way to stay on track and to help grow your business.
And it should be crystal clear what your business represents. When the first thing on my website is my mission, so people get to know where she, who is she, what is she doing. So the very first thing is my mission is, and I specifically state what that is.
Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit about that mission statement, because you're not writing a paragraph about your business. I would like you, Nicole, to weigh in on that. You actually have a business that helps people with that. Is
Mhm.
that correct? Can you tell us
I
a little bit
do.
about that?
Yeah, actually, like I said, I've been in business for a long time, many years. I'm not going to tell on myself how old I am, but many years, and in the areas of real estate and finance mostly. But my heart has always been with other entrepreneurs. So this year, I kind of launched a coaching company called Visionaries in Action, because I would have a lot of people coming to me, always asking for business advice and things like that, and would be helping them and things like that. And I don't know, my heart was just always there. I'd find myself really kind of going overboard until I just got to the point where I'm like, you know what, I really think this is what I want to do, is help people, visionaries. We come with these wonderful things that I think, God plants inside of us, right, to do and to put out there into the world, whether that be a gift or talent or a particular idea. But sometimes we really just need people to come alongside of us and help us get that vision off the ground, right? So what's the next step, and then to kind of help make sure that the next steps that I'm taking are really in alignment with what's going to get me where I need to go the fastest. So that's kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and why I call it Visionaries in Action, because we take that strategic plan and we have fun with it, and we build out your mission, vision, your executive summary. We do all that with your plan, your marketing plan. We do all that, and then we say, okay, now that we got the plan, we're not just going to stick it in a drawer in the desk. Now we're going to have fun with it. Now we get to map it out over 12 months, and then in a quarters. And then what are we going to do in a month's time? What are we going to do in a week's time? All the way down to what are your daily tasks that you're going to do to help carry that goal out. And as we move along, as we navigate that, then we get the opportunity to adjust as we go along. Because again, the one thing I also wanted to remember, ladies, grace. Give yourself grace along this journey, because it's entrepreneurship is not for the weak. If you don't give yourself grace, you'll burn yourself out very, very quickly. But I just wanted to say that. I don't know if I just answered all that or answered too
No,
much.
you did. You did. Actually, you did. Now, and just to complement what you said, you've really got to embrace your vision and mission statement. Now, you mentioned don't just write it out and put it in a drawer. If you've put it in a drawer, you've not connected with it. Because I've seen people have these beautiful mission, vision, and whatever, and they can't even tell you what it is. If you're not able to tell someone what your vision and mission statement is, then you have not connected with it. It's not in alignment. It might be beautiful, but if you don't know what it is, that means you don't know where you're going. Exactly. That means you have no idea. Imagine being a soldier and your boots on the ground, and they said, what's your mission? Well, we got to go take care of the enemy. But if you don't know that, well, how are we going to do it? And how many of them are out there? And what do we see happening? Capturing everyone and winning and whatever. So you've really got to be in alignment with that. And if you don't know what that is, then again, you mentioned there were some businesses that probably never should have got off the ground, because there was no alignment with the mission and with the vision. I also want to state something about that too, is that going back to your vision and mission statement, we cannot have something that's so long and arduous that people can't even follow what we're doing. Yes, so I'm going to have you speak on that for a moment. I'm going to dip out on the screen. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. So your mission and your vision really need to be one or two lines, really. So the shorter, the better. The more concise, the better. It needs to be something that you can remember and your people can remember easily. So just like Sabrina said, you don't want to confuse yourself, or even if you have a great memory, it really doesn't matter. I mean, the best thing is for it to be short and concise. And clear. So having that with your mission and vision statement is truly important. And even with your core values, you don't want to have, I would say this, ultimately, this is just a suggestion. Is your business, you do what you feel is good for you. But even with core values, 3 to 5 are good, so that you don't get lost into what's important for you and what's important for you in your business. So, if you got core values written down, there's like 10 or 12 of them. Everybody's looking around like, I don't know what's important to us, right? But if you have 3 to 5, and honestly, 5 is kind of stretching. If you have 3 to 5, then people can get behind that. They know, it's integrity, it's I can't think right now, but it's integrity, or clarity for your people, or fun. That some people have that in their their core values. If it ain't fun, they don't want to do it. So those 3 things, people will know that, and your team, as you're building out your team, will really, I think, appreciate that. I know the people that I've worked with, they appreciate that. Once I got clear, I've been on both sides, when I wasn't clear and when I am clear, right? And I know the difference of how easy it is or it's not to lead people once you're clear. Because once you're clear, you can lead yourself, and leading yourself, you can lead people. And I heard what this woman said one time. She says, getting people to do what you need them to do, but for their own reasons. So it's got to be their reasons, but you got to lead them into the thing that you know that you need them to do for business. So
I love that. I absolutely love that. So we've gotten, let's say
so
we've
welcome back,
gotten our,
Sabrina. Are you there?
oh, am I hold on a second. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Is it breaking up? Yeah, I can hear you now. It's breaking up a little bit there.
Okay, sorry about that. So so we've gotten our mission statement, we've gotten our vision, we've gotten our core values, right? So the other thing you and I talked about pre-show was having an action plan to go along
Mm.
with this business plan. So what would you say to them about having an action plan?
I- what would I say to them about have an action plan? Don't not have one. Just always make sure that you have a plan on how you're going to execute what you've put on paper. I'll just give you an example of how, just a personal example of how I, back in the day when I had my mortgage company, and I had a guy that came into my office, and he actually bought and sold cars, and it sounded really fun to me. And he talked about, how he was buying and selling these cars and doing this stuff. And before I knew it, I was flying down to Florida, coming back with a load full of cars, right? And to be very honest with you, I think I bought like 4 or 5 cars, got my dealer's license for cars and all this kind of stuff, but it seemed fun, right? But it profited me nothing. And actually, it took time away from my business, and my business in that time frame actually went that way, not that way. So
Mhm.
it wasn't a part of my mission or my vision. And truly, at that point, I knew I did mortgages, right? I knew we had a mortgage company, but truly, I didn't have a mission, I didn't vision, I didn't have core values, I didn't have any of that. So this is what I did, but I noticed that I was going to and fro whatever else came along my way. So it wasn't just, I'm giving myself some grace here, because it wasn't just cars. There's some other stuff I got to put off into as
And
well.
I get
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
I get that. I think that's happened to all of us. And I want to talk about that for a minute. You almost have to have blinders on with what you're doing. So, for
Mm,
instance, I'm a financial coach, and I'm specific on helping people do financial game plans and understanding financial products and retirement plans. Well, I have people coming at me all the time about, hey, well, you want to add this and add that. And I had someone come to me about these debit cards or credit cards, and you can offer this, and you get in on the bottom and do all that, your financial. And I took a step back. I said, but that's really not part of my
mm,
mission and my vision.
mm,
That's packing in some more stuff in, and next thing you know, I'm off in the wild blue yonder promoting these cards and everything, and I've left my home base. I've
mm.
left what I started out doing, that was helping people create their financial future. I can't do that if I'm off selling cards and credit cards and whatever that is that they were offering me. And so don't get off course.
Mm.
Now, there's nothing wrong with diversifying, but make sure that you follow your business plan on your core business, what it is you're doing. And also, you don't want your clients to be confused about who you are
Mm.
and what you do. Because now, if I got into that, they'd be, well, what is Sabrina doing? I thought she was against debt anyway. Now she's out getting these credit cards or whatever. And now that's confusing. And your business can suffer and it can go downhill. So be careful about add-ons. It has to be in alignment. I think you mentioned earlier, understand your mission and your vision, but what you do has to be in alignment. And if you break off and do something, make sure it's going to complement and not take away
Yes.
from what you're doing.
And make sure you have somebody that can actually handle that. That's the other thing too. Is like, don't add on stuff into your business that you don't have somebody that can take responsibility for it. And if that person is going to be you, make sure that your schedule and your mind here is clear for you to go that route. Otherwise, it's going to be a disaster. And again, even that, like you said, even if it's in the same line of what you do, it can take you away. And I think like a lot of people in network marketing, they always talk about, go deep, you drive
Yeah,
deep,
go deep.
not wide. And that's one good thing in your business. And not that you can't be a serial entrepreneur, because I deem myself a serial entrepreneur, but each business has its thing, right? Each business has its line. And for businesses that I'm a part of, I have partners, right? But that particular business has its own mission, its vision, and then it can, before you, become very strategic. So as entrepreneurs, I mean, we're probably going to do more than one thing in our life, but it's just about how you do it and how you go about it to make sure that it works for you and works for the people around you. Because the one thing, because we're talking about leadership, is the one thing about leadership that I in my later years have started to take very seriously. And I just want to say this to the ladies, that it's you have to realize the impact that you have on other people's lives when they're trusting you, when you're their employer, whether they're working with you in partnerships. So we really have to be cognizant of when we're building a business. It's not just about us, just like when we do with families, right? It never was just about us. It was about the service that we're bringing to the world. But our team is important too. So we just have to make sure that what we're doing, right, is good for them as well.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Well, that goes with your core values. But I
Mhm.
also want to go back to something. There's an old saying, you can be a jack of all trades, but master of none. So think about what it is you're doing. Do you want to be the master in what you're doing? Or you could be a person with 10 businesses. Because I don't know about you, but if I got a heart problem, I want to go to a heart surgeon.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to a general practitioner. I want
Mhm.
to go to a heart surgeon for something that's serious. If I got a cold or whatever, a general practitioner is fine. So it depends on what you're doing, and if it's important in that industry that you be a master, then people have to know that that is what you specialize in and that you're a master at that. Now, you may still have some other side investments and businesses that you do, but your audience and the audience and your potential clientele have to see you as the master of that.
Mhm.
But if you got 18 different things going on, they don't, you've heard this said before. If you give people too many choices, they choose none.
Yes.
If you
Yes.
got 20 different things going on, Sabrina does this. She's a carpet salesperson and she sells balloons and all. She also does financial coaching and she sells footwear. They don't even know what to choose.
Mm-mm.
So they
No.
won't choose me. They'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So with your business plan, keep that in mind that whatever you do, you want to be the master at that. It has to represent you being number one, that people are going to choose you over the competition,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Now I want to go back to one other thing too. I have a one-page business plan. Now, some of them can go long and deep. It depends on the depth of your business. If you have a corporation, if you got partners, all of that. I have a simple one-page business plan, and it's broken up in quarters. What do
Mm.
I want to achieve monetarily for the quarter? And each quarter grows. I don't want to be at 5,000 this month, 5,000 this quarter, 5,000 next quarter. My business is not growing. So it's
Mm.
a growth business plan. And so broken up by quarters. And I review that every quarter to see if I'm on point. If I'm not, I got to go back to my action plan,
Yes.
which is just below my business plan. My action plan tells me how I'm going to get the results on my business plan. So I go back and I said, well, you know what? I didn't reach out to 10 people. I'm supposed to reach out to 10 people. You know, I didn't circulate myself. I didn't go to networking meetings. I didn't do this. I didn't work on my book. I didn't do whatever it is, whatever my action plan tells me. And so that's why I failed on meeting my results. So you mentioned earlier, Nicole, about having that action plan. about knowing how you're going to make your business plan work. Any final thoughts on that?
Well, I think what you said was wonderful. I mean, it kind of sums it all up, really. But what can I say to that? Because you talked about, breaking it down into quarters and then into the months, and that makes it easier, right, for you to get your weekly and then your daily tasks that you need to do. And I guess I would say that just make sure that you break that down into the weekly and the daily, because what you're doing is you'll figure out quicker when it's not working. So we tend to have, okay, this is what we're doing for the quarter, or this is what we're doing for the month, right? But break that down a little further and make sure that you have your eye on the pulse for how you're doing from a week to week basis,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can adjust accordingly, right? And I would say the other thing is don't let anything get in the way of that action
Mm.
plan. um there's a million and one things that can get in the way, and I'm not talking about super important things. Our family are important, and things of that nature. But the days can get away from us, so I would say make sure that you put structure around that action plan. I've started using something called focus blocks, and in the focus blocks, it's doors shut, 3 hours, nothing but working on the work that I'm supposed to work on. So then when I come out of that, I have the freedom that when my day is getting kind of wonky and crazy, I've already done the stuff that was most important for me that day. Now, I want to be transparent, okay? I'm getting into that. So I have not been perfect, but getting really good at it, and that's why I say give yourself grace for people, because it's a process, right? It's a process. You don't have to be perfect today, right? You just have to be a little better tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. So anyway, so that's what I would say, is just make sure that you have that blocked out time with your goals as you break them down into weeks and days.
Nicole, thank you so
Mm.
much for doing this live today. We've talked about women CEOs, business, and leadership. And I love how you tied leadership into the business plan, that we have a responsibility to our clients, our client base, to the general public, people that we're interacting to, that we lead properly and we take this seriously and our business plans. So this has been a great opportunity for you and I to talk about the necessities of a business plan. How can people find you anyway, Nicole?
Oh yeah, great. They can find me at they can find me on Facebook. Actually, I think that would be the best way for these women right here and here to connect with me. So I'm in the group, and I would love for them to connect with me there, because that's really kind of what I'm looking for here. I'm looking to connect with other women business leaders. So please send me a message. What is that called?
Friend,
What is it called?
instant messenger.
Yeah, instant messenger. See, I'm not that savvy with so I'm getting with that. But yeah, I would love to for people to instant message me. I'd love to connect with other women who have similar visions, or maybe even not. We're all business women and leaders, so I'd love to connect with anybody out here.
Beautiful. Well, it's been a pleasure to work alongside you today on Women CEOs, Business and Leadership. And we want to thank you, our viewers and listeners, for joining Nicole and I today. And we hope today's innovative nuggets of wisdom have inspired you to take action towards an even greater life. So join us each week live or catch the replay. And for more information and to join us as a moderator, possibly a board member, or to attend our annual Powerful Women Summit, which is coming up. I'm ordering my dress as we speak in August. To go to our website at womenoiii.com. That's womenoiii.com. Or contact myself, Sabrina Protic, or Crystal Richardson for details. You can DM me, and I'll need an email address from you, and I'll make the right connections. So have a great week and continue to live each day unapologetically with honor and gratitude. And remember, keep rising because woman, you are powerful. We'll see you on our next live. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye-bye, guys.